Morning guys, different kind of vlog today. Today I've actually got some film students coming to the house and they're filming like a short film type thing for one of their projects for their course. And the project's going to be basically, well, they've asked me to interview me and to talk about the whole boxing journey type thing. I'm not really fully sure in the context of it, but I have spoke to one of the guys and I've said to him that I'm going to be an open book. I'm not going to hide anything, and that's what these vlogs were always about, as I keep on saying. It's not to hide anything, to always be open and honest, and not to always put your best face forward. I think that's the wrong message that people always get across. So I think they're coming, what time's it now? I've already trained today. So it's about 8:45 right now. So I'm just going to head down to the barber's because I need someone to polish my head. And it's Ker's birthday today, so happy birthday mate. So I'm going to take him down for some breakfast.
Cheers.
So what I'm going to be planning on doing is I'm going to set my own camera up, this one here, and I'll film the questions in that as well, and I'll put it up. So I don't really know full script of what's going to be asked. It's going to be a nice casual conversation, but as I said, I'm going to put up the full ins and outs, maybe what people don't know, why I had to stop boxing, and why I decided to come back, and everything in between. So as of right now, I don't know what this vlog's going to look like, but obviously by the time it's up, we'll have a much better idea. So whatever follows after this, I hope you enjoy it. These guys are due in, and they're probably going to get the wrong impression because I try to be a good host, and this is Ruth, by the way, this isn't me, because I wouldn't have boat in and in, I'd just have them sitting there starving, but I went and got these in.
I'm surrounded by diabetes.
So we'll see if I like them, and I'll obviously be crossing my fingers and hoping that they've not got any appetite, so I've got hunters left for the night.
Sweet.
That way explains it off.
You want me to lower? Alright, we'll start with just the kind of introduction bit. Alright, so tell us how you got into boxing.
How did I get into boxing? I don't actually know, if I'm being honest with you. My earliest memory, I would say, I remember I was staying with my gran, and my gran always used to say to me and my brother, I'm going to get you into boxing, I'm going to get you into boxing, as if it was like a pinnacle of some sort or anything like that. But that's my earliest memory of like what made me want to do it. And then your obvious things like Rocky, watching Rocky, Mike Tyson fights or something like my father and that would always be talking about and stuff like that. But in the sense of getting into it, I think my earliest memory is probably my granny talking about it, and that's what I think I must have planted the seed, because that's the earliest point I can ever think of when I even remotely thought about it.
Was she a big boxing fan?
No.
No?
I think she just always wanted us to be able to take care of herself. I don't really know the full ins and outs, but I'm sure my gran done something like judo when she was really young, and she's not with us now, but I think she always wanted us to make sure that we can handle ourselves, which was, because she was a right toughie.
So you spoke about Tyson.
Yeah.
What's your earliest memory of Tyson?
Earliest memory of Tyson? Actually, I think the earliest memory of him was when he went to jail. And then he was coming out of jail and he had his wee burst of fights. And the actual main one that stands out is because I think it was me and my brother stayed up and we watched the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield fight where he bought Holyfield's ear. And I remember that because I remember the aftermath of it where it was just all chaos. That was probably my earliest one, in the sense that I remember like vividly like all the Tyson thing, but I think that made you watch all these kind of fights where like how good he was as opposed to how good he was at that period of time. At that time he was past it, you know.
The unpredictability doesn't hurt.
No, it didn't, because you were sitting there like when you're watching a Tyson fight, you're basically sitting watching, like now when people watch a fight they get a wee bit upset, oh it only lasted a round, but that was the reason why you watched the Mike Tyson fight, and it was because he was going to go in and decapitate somebody, and that was fantastic.
Tell us about your first boxing match.
My first boxing match came roundabout by accident, and this is where we could end up backtracking, by the way, because I'm never supposed to have boxed. This is a whole other side. It was a charity thing. It's one of the guys that like Kerr and I used to box with. He was running a boxing charity gig, and then he messaged me and within seconds, obviously, I was like, because I was never supposed to have boxed, and then I got the chance to box in a boxing match, and it was just, it was a charity event. It was against a guy I actually knew. He was about a stone heavier than me as well, which a lot of people might not know a lot about boxing, but weight is a massive factor. But no, went into that fight, and as I said, there wasn't a winner, there wasn't a loser. It was declared a draw, but it wasn't fought like that. It was a very, very gung ho fight.
Had you been wanting to have a boxing match for a long time before that?
Yeah, well, I talked about like how I get into boxing, but I was never allowed to box. The whole thing about this whole journey that's a wee bit insane is because I'm basically, if you had to put a number on it, I'm about, and you probably pick up on your cameras, but about 3/4 blind in my right eye, and a lot of people will see that in the vlogs, but I think everybody's just too nice to say anything about it. So if I ever went to box amateur, I would fail a medical immediately. They would just look at my eyes and be like, no, you can't do it, because although I've got peripheral vision and stuff like that, I can't see detail, so if you had to stand back there and like hold a finger up, there'd be no chance. I'd be able to tell, could maybe see if you moved, but couldn't really do it. So I went in my whole kind of life wanting to box, and that's why I was always coming in the community boxing. I went to boxing, came back out to boxing, because I was never allowed to box. So you go in and you would spar with some folk, and you would like say if you got the better of them, and then this actually happened once, and you remember this. Like you sparring with a guy, like got the better of me, actually left the ring in a huff because I got the better of him, and then 2 weeks later he went and won a title, and that actually made me take a big step back. I think I must have been about 21 or something like that, because I was always I could never take it seriously, so it was always heartbreaking for me, the fact that I was never allowed to box because of my eye. And then with the whole charity thing, it wasn't quite as, we want to say it wasn't quite as legit, if you want to put it that way. Like, you weren't scrutinised, you did get a medical and all that, but it wasn't as severely scrutinised because it was like shorter rounds, and like the danger wasn't deemed as bad or whatever it was. But no, so when I got the opportunity, I think I was must have been about 23, 24 when I had my first fight. I thought I was going to have to die and be reincarnated to be able to live a life to box again. So when I got a phone call saying, listen, we're going to do a charity thing, you want to fight on it, it took me about 0.3 seconds to be like, aye, obviously. Like, are you sure? Is this alright? I was so confused, but they were like, aye, no, it's totally fine. So, aye, that was the start of it.
How many times did you fight?
Fights wise, I think it was 8 or 9. I think it may have been 9 fights.
How did as a charity, how did they make those matchups?
Usually the way it is done, like, I can't speak for everybody, because some of them are just, I'm quite lucky with the guys that I've went with, and that's why I've went with them, is they really scrutinise, and they'll watch all your training, try and match you up with weight, try and match you up with ability. You've probably sparred together and all that, and some of the other ones, some of these other sort of charity ones are ridiculous, where it's just, they're trying to make much money as they can, they don't really care for the person that's coming in, and they just get matched up. But the guys I'm saying, there'll be video footage either shared with each one of the clubs, or you'll know the person because you've trained together. You just get analysed, you just get matched up based on your weight, boxing ability, technique, all that kind of stuff. And they maybe probably even saw you fight, but that's how they usually match you up when you've got a good place. But other ones are just basically, oh, there's a guy and there's a guy, oh, they look about the same, chuck them in. And then one ends up getting absolutely demoralised in front of other mates, and the other guy looks amazing.
So in the lead up to these fights, what's the kind of training schedule like?
Well, before I took this last one, you were just, like, I would just, even although you know better, like, you've always got the Rocky mindset, so you train like an absolute idiot. Like, you would just train basically till you couldn't train anymore. So you would always be out running, and you'd be going to boxing, and you'd be sparring, then you'd be in the gym, then you'd be running, then you'd be sparring, then you'd be boxing. It was non-stop. But this one, where, because I'm a qualified personal trainer, I do coaching and all that kind of thing, and that was and I think we'll obviously get to this, but that was a massive element, and another reason why I wanted to do it again is because of all my years of experience that I'd gathered and been taking other folk through and getting massive success. I wanted to apply that to myself, because I was, not that I didn't know it beforehand. Boxing gyms they're so like still in the caveman times. They've never really progressed. So I was always like dying to go back and say, I wonder if I applied stuff that I actually knew and put it into practice, what would happen here. So it was very different. The both ways you were trained were very different.
So obviously you had quite a long break.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us why that happened?
Right, so when I first started boxing, obviously we spoke about my eye. That was since I was 3 years old. I had an injury with my eye. and then I wasn't supposed to box, and I started boxing, and a lot of people always ask me, and even for my guys watching this vlog, a lot of people always saying like, why did you give up? I never gave it up. I would never give up. I'd still be fighting right now. I'd probably have about 100 fights if I was allowed, but because of the nature of the injury and stuff, we were always mental cautious. But the reason why I gave it up and had that big long break from it, well, I'm saying I gave the break for it, it's only turned into a break because I fought again, but the reason why I had to give up in the past is because my good eye got injured. I was in training, and it's always when you're carrying on, it's like when you play football, when people say you go in for a 50-50, no, don't do that, like go full in, don't do a half a tackle. So we were outside and we were doing a wee bit of sparring, and this happened a couple of times actually, but one time it was really bad where the velcro on the boy's glove scuffed my eye, my good one, and when I went to hospital it was called a corneal abrasion, but it was so near my pupil. It was like, I think apart from the optician thinking I was clinically insane for wanting to fight even though I already had a bad eye, which was completely right. They said if that was like another couple of millimetres over that side you would probably have been blinded. And I was actually, couldn't really see for 3 days, and I had to get friends coming up to my flat at the time. I had to get them to come up and look after me and stuff like that, like to make sure, because I really couldn't see. I was really bad, so that was it then. Like I had to really, no, I can't keep doing this. That really gave me the fright, and my coaches not the same. They were like, no, like we need to stop this.
So you've obviously had other injuries as well?
Yep, so like although I wasn't really fighting, I could never really fully step back for boxing because there's a massive training element to it that even like all yous guys, if every one of yous, if anybody went and done boxing, you would fall in love with it. There's such a camaraderie in a boxing gym if you get a good boxing gym that you can't replicate. So I always kept boxing, but I was sparring with one of my mates and we were just having a wee carry on, and I've got the footage of this as well, but I threw a left hook and I snapped my bicep tendon, and I mean a clean snap, and I had to go and get that surgically reattached and stuff. So coming back into the last fight, I was coming back in, because I tried to make an earlier comeback and I couldn't, it was just too sore, and then it was just a case of through this whole training camp coming into this fight, I've tried to learn how to manage it. Like I knew I couldn't punch really hard 2 times a week, but I could do it once. So the other days of the week where I was going to punch it would just be light and fast, or working on just wee technique things, where that's what me and Kerr were doing a lot. So it was a massive disadvantage, so you fight with one eye and one arm. So at the start of the training, if anybody was paying attention to training, they'll see how many left hooks I didn't throw, which was weird because I was known for my left hook. So it made me extremely cautious to throw it. But over the course of time it did toughen up, not to say that it was not sore, because that'd be a lie. But it did toughen up, and it was get to the point where you went in sparring. Adrenaline's a wonderful drug, so when you were in sparring or when you were in fighting or whatever, you would never feel it until you stopped.
So obviously you had quite a long break. When you're doing that, obviously away from something that you're obviously quite passionate about.
Yeah.
How do you, I mean not cope, but how do you really, I don't know, put that to the back of your mind maybe?
I couldn't. It was always that thing at the start where when I stopped boxing, I was with in a different relationship at the time, and I had a few really good clients, and my focus went totally onto clients, and a lot of them competed in like bodybuilding and stuff, or like bikini shows or whatever, and we had like we had two champions, we had a runner up, we had another runner up, we had somebody went on to win the world championships. So my focus went on them, and then I done a whole operation get fat to get shredded, but I done that myself to give myself a long term goal to distract myself. So I got myself extremely overweight and then lost it all again and done a bodybuilding show. But when that was all passed away, I couldn't create another goal for myself, and it's maybe another topic of conversation, but I went into a bit of a deep depression after that, like really bad, and I couldn't really figure out why at the time, because on the surface of things might have been going well, but for me, like, not until now where I can look back on this now, but it was a lack of a personal goal or anything that actually really mattered. So you kind of lost a sense of purpose, no matter what was happening in my life. Like that, there was a massive void there that I wasn't working towards.
Is that maybe what fueled the comeback?
I think there was massive elements to it. I think there was a lot that went into that comeback. I think the knowledge thing was a small part of it. I started my own boxing classes with the TeamTank boxing guys. I started that with all them, and they kind of, I don't know, like, when I was boxing, nothing else mattered, if I want to put it that way, which isn't always a good thing, because I'm a very all or nothing guy. Like, I'm either all in it or not at all. So I think I wanted to put myself more so back into the mindset, because I was looking into doing other stupid things. Like, I started looking into all the mad bare knuckle stuff and that, and people think I'm just talking crap. I legit was looking into just stupid stuff, you know what I mean? Again, to fill a void. So the fact that, like, my old coaches and that, I think they kind of knew there was a wee bit of desperation. You're like, I just need this one, and a lot of people will be saying, but is it just going to be that one if that's how you feel? But it got me back into the mindset of where I know what I need to be doing in life now, and in the sense of goal setting. So the boxing, like, obviously filled that void, but during that whole time I knew, right, I feel great now. I had, like, no anxiety, no nothing at all. Nothing was affecting me because I had a strong goal in mind. But through that whole time I was already thinking, right, when this is past, because this was like last May, so it's almost been like 9-10 months, like, I was already making plans of what I'm going to do afterwards. And that's what I learned through going through it all again, is that, like, me as a person, I'm going to have big goals that actually mean something, because I can't fake it. Because people say, why don't you sign up to a marathon? Why don't you? That doesn't mean it to me. This is the most boldest fucking thing I could think of in my life, if I'm being honest. So just really focus on goal setting. That'd be the biggest thing. I'd really advise with anybody that's kind of struggling. Don't do something to follow a line of crowd or anything like that. Set yourself a goal that actually means something, and then commit to it.
So obviously that was about 9 months of that, after you've done your bicep and you've obviously vlogged it. So maybe tell us about that. Obviously you don't have to give us an entire 9 months in detail, but tell us about that kind of gradual. Obviously it's noticeable in the vlogs you lost quite a lot of weight during it. So maybe tell us about the training, and then the vlog, and then leading up to the fight.
Right, when we started the training, I was literally just back for holiday, and so you were probably a wee bit more, it was an all-inclusive holiday as well, so you were probably a wee bit more podgier than you wanted to have been. But again, because, like, if I'm talking about life, like, even although I coach loads of clients and stuff like that, that's going back to the whole goal setting thing, but, like, when I'm not getting in to really train for them, like anybody else, I get quite relaxed. I start putting on weight. Like, it's the same for anybody else. It's the exact same thing. People just think you should be immune to it because you're a personal trainer. How could I put this? Like, say the question again, sorry.
So it's a bit of a wide question.
Aye.
Obviously 9 months of training.
Right.
Maybe just kind of tell us about how maybe the vlog kept that, I don't know, maybe like a clear arrow. Maybe obviously you had like a countdown to the fight for quite a while.
Yeah.
You knew you were fighting in February.
Yeah. Aye. The vlog thing actually started when I snapped one. Because I don't know if you guys watch, like, YouTube or watch vloggers and like that, but I ended up starting to get into guys like, who was that I really started watching, like Casey Neistat, and I don't know why. Like, I ended up watching about 7 of his videos and no fucking clue what the hell am I doing watching this guy, do you know what I mean? And I started getting into other vloggers, and then I kind of wanted to do it a bit more in an educational sense. And I hate the fact that most people on social media, Instagram, Facebook and all the rest of it, were always putting their best face forward. And I was always wanting to put it across to where, again, more vlogs down the line, like, open up about mental health and, like, talking about stuff and showing that it's actually hard, that I didn't just wake up with abs one day or anything like that, do you know what I mean? It was showing them, like, that was an absolute slog of 9 months. So I broke my training down into phases, like a getting back into it phase, getting closer to the weight kind of phase, and then just sharpen up phase. So we had 3 main phases, and again, it's an expertise thing. Like, I kind of knew how to do it, and that's the vlogging thing was more of accountability to myself, because I was extremely, like, sitting in front of cameras and get my photo taken, because of I've always been extremely self-conscious about it. So it was one of these things where having a wee bit more of the kind of, if you want to put it, the Gary V kind of mentality, like, don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. And the whole, what we were saying about editing that earlier, it's like something I've started really enjoying. So it's given me another goal, another focus to try and build on that. But again, though, there's, God, you can go on about this question for about an hour if I'm being honest with you.
Maybe just tell us what that fight meant to you.
The fight meant, it kinda, because that was the thing, I think everybody would be thinking, like, the fight was amazing in the sense of, like, the support. Like, I wrote it at the end of the vlog, and I done a wee bit at the end, and it's like, you're gone for the point where you didn't want to live anymore to having what I would probably class as the best night of your life. And that was what I put at the back of it, and a lot of people might feel like that sounds extreme. But that's genuinely what it went for. Like, it really, really did go for that one extreme to another. So in that sense, like, that fight meant obviously everything, because like you think everything's over and you don't want to be there anymore to like having a night like that. Do you know what I mean? But it's more of the journey with it. Like, what the main thing was all, and I spoke about that in the reflection one, about how all the relationships you built, all the people that you weren't expecting just to step up. Like, there's people that like I always knew Karen, always knew Matthew, and always knew a lot of these other folk, and people were just coming at the woodwork, like messaging me, oh listen, see if you need any help with, see, like that to me was like, again, Jesus Christ, like, people do actually care. So a lot of times you didn't think that people cared about the day, like, just maybe people don't express it enough, you know what I mean? People struggle to express how much they care or whatever, I don't know. But in the sense of what it meant in a total mindset way was unbelievable. But it's more of the journey was incredible. Like, looking back on that, I don't look at the fight, genuinely don't, but the whole journey of it has been unbelievable, to get yourself back into that kind of mind frame, and it's totally changed my life, my whole perspective on life. And again, sounds extreme, but it totally has changed my full perspective on life moving forward.
So, did you make any sacrifices to train? Obviously, it might have taken up a bit of your time.
Aye. Some nights, like, again, I'm a very all or nothing guy. I'm always a very all or nothing guy. I better apologise to my partner for the lack of, saying that, I'm going to say the lack of taking her out as much as we used to, but no, I'll probably take that back. We still went out quite a bit. You know, normally I'd be a wee bit more anal with my nutrition and stuff, but the sacrifice was mainly just time, and probably time with her. We're getting married next year, so like I said, after this fight was done, that'll be my focus for her. She deserves that. But sacrifice everything was like sleep. I work basically 7 days a week. I work from home. I do my online coaching. I do like anything for 3, 5 to 6 different kind of classes a week. I work full time in a gym. Also do personal training outside that. So when people say you work 7 days a week, I legit work 7 days a week. Like, people think that's an exaggeration. So I was trying to fit in sometimes 2 training sessions a day because of the way it worked out. Something like, I made sure I had 2 to 3 days rest. That's another point that people won't really grasp. Like, how did you rest so much? But like, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I always done double sessions for the way it worked out. But aye, it's just the sacrifice. That's one of the reasons why I'm taking vlog as well, because people think it comes easy. Like, you were just going to go out a couple of jogs and stuff like that. And I was like, no, you need to go in, especially with boxing, you need to go in and get your face smashed, especially my first couple of spars where you're as rusty as anything. I was quite lucky. I had guys like Matthew and that weren't going to be a bigger threat, so it was allowing me to sharpen up a wee bit before I started taking bigger tests moving on, and it totally worked perfectly, if I'm being honest.
So tell us about TeamTank Health and Fitness.
TeamTank Health and Fitness, it was, funnily enough, it all kind of started with boxing. My Tank was the nickname I was given due to my severe lack of finesse, as I've put that in my YouTube channel. I was never a very good boxer, but I was always one of the guys, like, if you were going to be fighting me or sparring against me, like, fucking hell man, he doesn't stop coming. So like, they just started calling you the Tank, because it was like, hands up, just plod forward and go for it. And then the whole Team Tank came from, I think it was more like when we were all training with, as I said, with the girls with the bodybuilding and doing all that kind of thing, where they started building a wee bit of community in the gym. So we started, and I always, even when I was boxing myself, there was always people that was helping you along, and I always think there's a value in, because I used to call it the Tanks Fitness and Motivation page on Facebook to start with, then it turned into no Team Tank, and that's what you're always trying to have. Like, you're always trying to have a community of like-minded folk, because it's very hard. Like, see, you, like, even talking to some of my clients today, and like, if they're eating out of Tupperware and that, and they feel a bit self-conscious about it, and it's like, absolutely categorically shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It's completely up to you. It's alright to eat a donut, but you can't eat that. Do you know what I mean? But I digress. No, TeamTank Health Fitness, main business, personal training, online coaching, do classes and all those kind of things. And my job is simply to educate the person so they don't need me. Like, how to deal in the real world with nutrition and training. Like, I don't hold any secrets back. I always see my goal is like teach them how to live in the real world, but still get to live a life. You get the word balance thrown out quite a lot, but I try and teach them like real world balance, because balance to a lot of folks just, aye, well, you know, I train really hard during the week and I go out the weekend and I binge till I can't move anymore. And we try and break that mentality. A lot of it's a lot of, you're trying to undo a lifetime of habits. Everybody's looking for the diet, everybody's looking for the training program. It doesn't exist. It's all your habits. You could effectively do any training program in the world and it would work, but you would need to adhere to some certain lifestyle factors. that would go into it.
Is coaching something that interests you? Coaching boxing?
Coaching boxing, I've always have coached boxing. So like you've got Scott Forrest, he's with Team GB right now. I was coaching him in the gym and stuff for when he was like 14 and stuff, and he's elite. He's fought 2 Commonwealth Games now. I was helping Gary Murray, he was a pro boxer, and I've always been in the gym like doing boxing, doing pad work. Even in the vlogs you'll see me with like Matthew Kerr and anybody else who wants to come in, like, because boxing is like, it's not just like something that I was liking, it was a genuine passion. Like, so you get somebody and you say bad there at the start, and then after like 6 weeks and they're just so fluent. But boxing's something I would love, I will always have my hand in. Whether I pursue it in the sense of coaching where you're coaching amateur or professionals, or like as in like being in a corner and that, I don't know. But being part of a corner and helping in some capacity is definitely something I will categorically be doing. In fact, I'm in kind of talks with a couple of different people that know about doing that.
Would you ever return to the ring?
Would I ever turn to the ring? I get asked this all the time, and my answer's categorically, I don't want to be away from it, but I'm not stupid. I've kind of been pushing it a wee bit too much now, and as I said, I just turned 33. When I was 26 and I was training for the fights, even though I was training like an idiot, I couldn't train the same way at 33, which is I kind of started realising why a lot of boxers retire in early 30s to mid 30s, because like the recoveries wasn't the same, and that was with much better nutrition, much more rest, just everything was planned out better. But somebody asked me the other day and I was like, no, and then somebody else went and said to me, but what if somebody called you and started trash talking you? And I think that's where egos get in the way, but I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to let that one lie, if I was being honest with you. So, I don't know, if you want to start putting videos out for folk to get me back in the ring, to start trash talking me, sending videos in online, nah, but honestly no, I could never see it. I always try and learn to never say never, but no, the answer would be no, unless I was trash talked.
So, look back in your entire boxing life,
No.
what's maybe maybe a couple of things that you've taken from it, the most important things?
The thing that I love about boxing that football and that doesn't have is, it all ties back to what I was saying about training, nutrition, all that kind of thing, is accountability. Like people say, like, how can you get up and do your run at that time in the morning, how could you train twice a day and all that kind of thing, and it's like, well, if I lay in my bed and I didn't go out that run, I know the guy that I'm fighting might be out doing that run, and if he's out doing that and I don't, I'm going to get my fucking face smashed in. So it was a big driver like that. So I think the biggest thing with boxing's kind of taught you is like, if you apply yourself to something, you dedicate yourself to something, like so whether it be like the weight loss, the skill side of it, or just the competitive side or whatever, it's like, I think it's a lesson in life, like just always staying accountable. Like, you don't need to go and do your run, but it'd be better if you did, do you know what I mean? You don't need to train that amount of times, but it might be better if you did. But the highlights of the whole boxing thing is, there's a lot, but the one thing I didn't realise that I missed until I went back to it was the camaraderie, like being around folk. I'm quite a secluded person, but that's probably the main thing I would say. Like, what I've took for boxing is just always staying accountable to yourself. And I think that's what I'll take through my full life, is that you're in charge. It's up to you. You can only do your best. Don't worry about what the other guys doing. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Just do your best. I think boxing is probably the epitome of that. Like, where just go and give it your all, and don't cheat yourself, because you'll always get fun at the end.
We'll maybe wrap up with, it's obviously a sport where there's a lot of injuries possible.
Yep.
Literally every fight you're getting hit in the face.
Yep.
Would you recommend it to someone just getting into boxing, like a young kid?
Would I recommend boxing?
Yeah.
It depends. It's a very, very touchy subject, obviously, with a lot of folk. You get a lot of, like, recently, probably more due to like some bad weight cutting, bad nutrition advice and stuff like that. In the sense of the way the world is not a nice, lovely place. I don't mean that everybody should get into boxing, but I think everybody should, to one extent or another, learn how to defend themselves. Like, I'm a big believer that every woman should be doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu classes. I won't really go into the ins and outs of why that is, but I've got a really strong belief that there should be some sort of element to that. Whether every kid or that should do it, it's hard to say. When it's the same with playing football. Like, you can go out and break a leg, you know what I mean? Rugby, you see concussions all the time, but no one really calls for it. But boxing's the one, because it is a wee bit more barbaric, where people highlight it. But you look at the injuries rates at every sport. Look at like Andy Murray, plays tennis, you know what I mean? He's had to retire because his hips and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? So it's common in every single sport. it's looking at the bad side of like with boxing. A lot of folk will always highlight, but until they're in and around the gym, they can't see like how somebody can just grow with doing it. Like I've got a few clients who've been doing boxing, and the changes in them as a person and the confidence from it has been extraordinary. And they're not sparring. That's the thing when people think they go into a boxing club and they think when they go into a boxing club that they're going to have to go and fight or spar or be in a ring. They don't. Like, in fact, I wouldn't allow it. I personally don't allow it unless I deem that person is ready. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'll bring my sparring gear in, and if they're quite new to it, I'll just be like, no, you'll not be sparring until I literally see that I think you are capable. And I'll be honest with you, the guys through it, like the Kinnock boxing gym and stuff, the one I train in, they wouldn't allow it either. They wouldn't just put you in the ring, and there is some bad coaches out there, but like the guys that I'm affiliated with and stuff, absolutely no chance would that ever happen. But I think boxing can do wonders in other ways, but like everything, there's obviously an element to danger out.
That's us. Thanks very much.
No worries, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Right guys, so that was a different kind of vlog. I kind of did watch some of the footage back before I filmed this wee tie-up bit, and I was kind of watching back with the guy, Reese, when he's asked the questions, I totally went on tangents, and I can be quite bad for that, but that was the raw footage. That's completely almost unedited, and I wanted to kind of leave it like that, just having a general conversation. And these guys I'm pretty sure are going to do a very professional job, and I've asked them by the time that they've finished it and they've done their editing and stuff for it, if they wouldn't mind sending me it so I can put it on the vlog. But again guys, as always, like, if you enjoyed it, if you didn't, just leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought, or if there's anything you didn't know, or maybe there's other things you do want to know, then let me know. Right, but again, it was something different, and I did hope you enjoy it, so probably see you next week. So aye, take it easy.
Diabetes.